I just did a video earlier, and shalom and good evening, boys. Here, welcome to the covenant. Well, I just not did a video uh, earlier today, and I've been harping on this a lot when it comes to the concept of these jobs and the fact that whether, especially in rural America, uh, in corporate America, a lot of people are losing their jobs. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to show what this thing looks like when it comes to people losing their jobs in rural America. Like I said before, it's going to be very difficult for you if you're on a homestead, right? To depend on one of these jobs because you got to understand that people in rural America depend on whether you like it, understand it or not, Walmart jobs, uh, local retail jobs, uh, warehouse jobs, factory jobs. These are where these jobs are in corporate America. And if you're dependent on them and you're on a homestead, it's going to be very difficult for you to uh, provide for your family. It's going to be very difficult for you to build anything on that homestead. Why? Because you're dependent on somebody else for their jobs. We clearly see in the hour that we're living in, uh, massive layoffs like we've never seen before in the history of the United States. We're entering into a transition period. You got to understand something. These billionaires are on the cusp of becoming trillionaires. Okay, they don't need your labor no more. They don't need your skill sets anymore. So what they're going to do is they're going to transition you out because they have all the money. You know what I mean? Uh, it's at the point where people are uh, really, yeah. Oh, ouch. Give me that steak sauce that's at the base outside. Excuse me for a second. I mean, I got my dinner delivered. And what we're having, where's my fork and not my knife? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm having some stone steak right here. I mean, it's just beautiful. I wish I can show it to you, but this is some good eating. What is this for? Okay. This is some good eating. Yeah. And let me get me some shucks. I left my thing in there. And we got some steak sauce. I tell you, man, it's just good eating. Stone steak with some rice. I mean, it's just good eating. But let's talk about it as I go ahead and enjoy my dinner. Okay. You have in this country people that are dependent on these factory jobs. And we're going to see what's going to happen or what's happening in rural America. What's happening with these corporate jobs as they continue to lay off people. So Let's go. And this is fair use. This is from Borough Manager's Board. I'll put the link in of what's happening when it comes to these corporate layoffs.
Let's have a look at the economic abattoir that is rural America as mass layoffs continue to sweep across the country, especially the rural parts of America during this holiday season.
Announced by Ford this afternoon, the company converting the battery plant in Glendale, Kentucky to produce a new product there, and jobs are expected to be impacted. Hello, everybody, and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Doug Proffitt. According to Bloomberg News, the plant's 1,600 workers will be laid off during the conversion. In a release today, Ford saying the plant will convert to start making battery-powered storage containers used by data centers, utility companies, and more. Some Kentucky lawmakers are sending statements concerned about the impact on employees. According to Bloomberg, those workers, 1,600, will lose their jobs, but then the company plans to rehire 2,100 workers for the new business focus by 2027. The announcement coming less than a week after that major announcement that the partnership between Ford and South Korean battery maker SK On is now ending. In a statement today, Kentucky State Representative Samara Havrin and State Representative Steve Bratcher issuing a joint statement reading in part, "Our focus remains on making sure the men and women whose jobs are impacted by this decision have the support and resources they need to find new employment."
So there is no resources to find these people new employment. There is none. It's a joke.
They're laying off 1,600 people from the Fairfield Ford plant in Kentucky. That's a lot of people in a town of about 9,500. That's about 20 to 21% if you account for the fact that there's already 4.5% of people there that are unemployed. This is a town where the biggest employer used to be the plant, and the next was, of course, the Family Dollar or the Dollar General, depending on the socioeconomic level of the town.
Did you hear that? See, these companies, it's these factory jobs, or it's Dollar General or Family Dollar or some other factory job. You see?
Guessing Dollar General. But that closes at 7 o'clock because things get a little bit weird in sundown town. 1,600 people in a town like that is not a small layoff. That is an economic detonation, a controlled detonation. That's like Thanos snapping his fingers and half the town all of a sudden is working at Spirit Halloween. Like I said, that's about 21% of the population that's not going to have any employment in this small town. That is incredibly depressing. But like I said, we're seeing that all over rural America as we see plant after plant shut down and mass layoffs continue to happen. In this holiday season, nothing's changing. I mean, this is going to change the entire vibe of the town. This is like you go into the town and 1 out of 5 people is like, yeah, I used to work at the Ford plant. And then they stare into kind of the middle distance like a Civil War ghost. Personally, I love Kentucky, but it's rural America, baby. It's flyover state. It's a place the politicians like to talk about like it's a Make-A-Wish kid. Every time they have one of their little homecoming parades, they're always going to have the politician come by. They're going to be like, yeah, we're going to bring back jobs, but the jobs aren't coming back. At least they're not going to come back till 2027, maybe. And what that means is now that 21% of the town, in towns that usually have no jobs to offer, all of a sudden have a huge influx of those who are unemployed. Which means people not paying their bills, people not paying their rents, people not paying the mortgages of the people who bought the home so they can rent it out. Right? This destroys the economy of these rural towns. And look, I get it. I get why people are angry about this. Because the sad, kind of funny part about this is
at the end of the day, you can't depend on these people, even rural America. This is why I've been saying over and over again, start your own business, fulfill a need, because then you're going to end up like this.
This is a Trump-heavy country. This district, especially in Kentucky, is very Trump-heavy. I mean, it seeps into everything. It's not just signs on people's yards, right? It's not just, Trump 2028 on the side of a barn as you go by the highway. I mean, like, it's indoctrinated to the kids at this point. I mean, Trump-heavy, like, let's go, Brandon, carved into the desk of schools heavy. But now the plant's gone. Strange, curious, interesting. Kind of strange timing, really. Maybe, just maybe, for a town that's dependent on foreign import for their plant, maybe it wasn't a good idea to vote for the guy who's going to nerf the auto industry with tariffs. It's just a bad move, really. Just throwing that out there. Maybe slapping tariffs on steel and parts that you need to run your plant, and then acting shocked when the plant goes under and everyone loses their job. maybe that's something you should have saw coming just a little bit.
Pretty
But
much.
no, when you talk to people, and I can't wait for the interviews to come out because the blame is not going to be put where it probably should go. It's always something else. You know, it's always immigrants. It's always China. It's always Mexico. It's always drag queens, story hour, probably in Louisville somewhere, pissing people off in a rural town of 9,500, whatever the Fox News dartboard of grievances landed on that morning. Who knows? Meanwhile, you got 1,600 people who are going to be sitting at home over the holidays
Done deal.
saying, are we still built Ford tough or we just built Ford briefly? This is the cycle of the rural American town, in case you didn't know. A factory will come in, and the entire culture of the town will center around that factory. The high school is going to rename their sports team, in this case, something like the Fairfield Pistons or something like that. Everyone's dad works there. Everyone's uncle works there. And shit, even the guidance counselor at the high school works there part-time on the weekends. And then one day it's just poof, corporate email saying that, hey, everyone's going to lose their job, but don't worry, we'll get you on the back end a year and a half, 2 years, 3 years from now. Market
Fair use. Fair use.
conditions is just corporate for, hey, we weren't making as much money as we wanted to, and we can probably make it cheaper somewhere else just so we can kind of improve the margins. Or in this case, we're going to have an absolute shift because the tariffs that we voted for and the immigration policies have been so wild that other countries are just refusing to do business with us. So in this case, the company that you partnered with from South Korea says, no, bro, we're good. We're going to go somewhere else, maybe China. So if you are from this town, the question is, what do you do now?
This is why I say again and again, and this is a perfect example of people that moved out to rural or in rural America. They thought that they was going to have a secure job, and now that they don't have no job anymore. But see, the bills don't stop. The projects don't stop. The inputs needed to develop your home or even maintain your home don't stop because you were dependent on this company for your livelihood. Ford, yeah. All of this rave about electric cars. All this rave about electric cars. Where are they now?
What do you do in a place where there's no jobs? In rural America, that's the thing. The cost of living is much cheaper, yes. The homes are much cheaper, yes, but that's because there's no jobs. Factory jobs that come to small towns are
Did you hear that? Did you hear that?
usually the best kind of jobs that you're going to get. But the thing is, they go with the wind. They go with the wind of Wall Street. They go with the winds of DC. Don't go with the wind of the people. But I guess you can pivot to tech or something like that, have a little startup, disrupt unemployment with an app. You can try that. Why not? Of course, most people laid off probably just have a GED at best. No, what I say you should do, I think that you should go to that Dollar General and right next to it, you should open up a little booth where you sell 2028 Trump merch because that's what the economy is now. It's political merch in despair. I like to picture what that would look like. All the banners for Trump, a couple rebel flags, Confederate flags, don't tread on me flags, selling shirts that
Wherefore Trump? Where Trump? And you know what Donald Trump is doing? He's up on TV talking about how great the economy is and how great jobs are while he builds a $238 million ballroom on the side of the White House. This thing is said to rival the White House itself. These are the people that you put faith in.
say Trump 2028, you can't stop him. And right next to that says former Ford employee with your Cash App number on it. Because that's what it's become. This is the new era of the post-Vietnam, where you have homeless vets on the street with their signs saying that, hey, they fought in war.
Homeless veterans, people that fought in these warrantless wars, and they're forsaking them too.
Please give me money for food. That's what it is now. It's just poor, except in this case, it's just poor rural Americans who are.
Go to the government. You folks that thought that this country was going to take it, go to the government. You ever heard of the incident called the Bush Army? Look it up. I'm gonna, because this shows you how this government, this ain't nothing new. It shows you how they truly feel about its veterans. Look up the bonus army. I learned about this incident in high school. In high school, I learned about this incident. How they slaughtered and beat up and massacred these veterans that were promised bonuses after they fought in the war. And you know what MacArthur and them got on it? Because they went to Washington and they literally slaughtered, killed, beat, and drove these veterans out. The new army beat up and drove the old army people out. God and country, huh?
Casualties of the trade war. But it's all just a big cope. But that's the American dream now, right? It's just monetizing cope. Like I said, don't get me wrong. This isn't just rural Kentucky. This has been happening to rural America now. It's just escalating drastically. You got factories shutting down. You got outsourcing.
Out here, because see, this country or this town out in Kentucky, they're devastated. You heard the stats of the people that work there, as opposed to the people that live there. It happened even out here. General Tire closed down. I even got I don't know if you see in the back over there, I got a 22 long rifle that was made in the town here. In Remington, they shut down the town. They shut down, laid off all of the people. General Tire laid off all the people. It devastated the local economy.
You got automation, and the towns are getting hollowed out to the point where the only businesses that are left are like a Walgreens and a church that also functions as a gun store on Saturday. And the thing is, this is going to be used for political fodder, as it always is. Next election season, some politicians going to be coming through. They're going to stand in front of the closed plant, for a little photo op. Like, and they're going to roll up their sleeves, their blue button-up shirt, like they're about to walk in and do a shift. And they're going to look real emotional, look into the camera and say, we're going to bring jobs back. That's what we're going to do here, because we're for America. We're for the everyman. But then they leave. They leave and they never come back. But you know what does come back? An opioid epidemic. It always comes back. Oh, reliable. So what's left to do, really? That's the
fentanyl out here. The drug epidemic is crazy out here. This is the problem that you have out in rural America. You have a fentanyl price. You don't have a coke and crack prices. That's in the ghetto. You have a fentanyl crisis out here.
Question: you can cope. You can grieve. You can drink. Yeah, you can go to the last Mexican food restaurant that's 3 towns over, because Fairfield certainly doesn't have it anymore. No. Not when they're voting for Trump and the numbers that they did. And that Mexican restaurant 3 towns over is holding the region together like it's duct tape. That is sacred. A place where layoffs are processed emotionally. Listen, I've seen this kind of stuff before because I'm from rural America. Anytime a company shuts down and a bunch of people get laid off, they just start the drinking, right? You go to happy hour, you toss back some Jose Cuervo, have a couple margaritas, and they start reminiscing about the old days when they were able to work a double shift. And that was the pride of their life. Even though they knew that it was some of the hardest days that they've ever lived. Mm-hmm. It's ruined their body. They never saw their kids ever actually be able to play a game that they practiced for all year. Never went to a recital or any of that bullshit. They just worked, and that's all they knew. That became their entire identity. Like I said, these towns that revolve around these factories, the factory, it's just like the coal miners in Appalachia, right? Coal mining becomes the identity of an entire region, even though it is slowly destroying the health and the economy.
You don't think people are experiencing these layoffs in rural America that own homesteads, that live on homesteads, that they can't find jobs, that the jobs that they have are being eviscerated? It's right here. Kentucky plant, gone. 1,500, 1,600 employees.
Economy and future outlook of the people who live there. But you walk into one of these restaurants where these people get together and they'd be like, Ford? And the sad guy just gives them a nod. They're like, yeah, we understand. We're sorry. And then they hand them a margarita the size of a fishbowl. Restaurants like that have seen things. They know more about trade policy than Congress does. And here's the dark part about it. They're going to vote for the same people again. They'll vote for the same thing again.
They're going to fall for the same gimmick again and again. What do you understand when people don't give a shit about you and all they want is your money and your resources? Why is it that people don't get this? These politicians don't care about you. These businesses don't care about you. You hear what happened to Joel Osteen and Creflo Dollar and Benny Hinn and particularly Creflo Dollar, Joel Osteen, and TD Jakes. They're all collapsing now because people. There's only but so long you can keep up with the prosperity gospel. There's only so long that you can tell the people that everything is going to be okay and God this and God that as these people get rich off of your backs and you lose your jobs and you get foreclosed on. You think these politicians or these religious leaders anything is going to help you out? Suckers bone every day.
And again, because when desperation hits and the collapse happens, most people don't question their beliefs. Most people don't question their faiths. They double down. They'll say, well, hell, it would have been much worse under the Democrats. How? But the vibes would have been a little bit different. Like, understand the position that you're in. Listen, my brother in Christ.
Learn how to produce for yourself. Real skills.
21% of your town is unemployed. The vibes are post-apocalyptic. And that's what these towns are going to see. But at least the people will be too drunk to actually loot the family tree like it would happen in a more civilized area. But this is how this kind of stuff goes. Anger with no target, pain with no plan, just vibes and bumper stickers that you probably bought from the stand next to the Dollar General. And it says, we're going to make America greater and greater again in 2028.
And you people believed it. You people believed that Trump was going to come in and do good. How's that working out for you? Make America great again.
You know, you're just not getting it. It's fine though. Your town will shut down eventually. And then the land will get bought up by developers. It'll be incorporated and they'll throw up a Walmart. They'll bring a couple jobs in that way. You know, more fast food slop, more restaurants that you can't afford to go to. And it'll bring in a class of digital nomads and people who can work remotely. And you can serve them because that's what happens. The gentrification of rural America is a fascinating thing to watch. And the executives are saying, hey, we're going to come back in a couple years and fix things. You think they're suffering right now? Of course, somewhere in Scottsdale.
They're good.
Still right now. They're not drowning their sorrows, drinking a warm margarita next to. They're doing.
Oh, they're living good while you struggle. They're living the high on the hog while you struggle and lose your job. Oh, they're living a good life while you struggle.
Great. You know, they're talking about resilience at a conference at the Marriott. You're asking your neighbors if you can mow their yard for $20. But in the end, this is America now. It's not a decline. It's just being bled out slowly. One time, one town at a time. And every time it happens, we act shocked. We say, how can this be happening? But the fact is, it's been happening for about 40 years. So yeah, sell the shirts, drink the margarita, blame whoever the hell you want, because the economy is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. The system is working exactly how it was designed. Built Ford tough.
Take from poor people to make people rich.
Laid off easy. If you're still here at this point, like and subscribe, think about becoming a member, all that jazz.
This is what I'm talking about when it comes to the literal destruction of the United States economy, how the rich corporations are pillaging you folks out there. And as you still think that you're going to have faith in the system while the system literally continues to fail you. Hey, it's right in your eyes. It's right before your very eyes what's going on. You know, it's very disheartening to see this kind of thing happen, because these people, just because their job stopped, that doesn't mean that the mortgage stopped. Doesn't mean the car note stop. That doesn't mean that the electric bills and the food bills and the debt. They don't mean that any of that stops. See, it doesn't stop. It continues to go on. And as a direct result of these people believing in the system, could you imagine being out there when they first opened up this plant? And they gave these glowing speeches and they broke ground and they had their silver shovels out and they said, you know what? This is just going to bring jobs to the local economy and it's going to create security and all this bullshit that they say. And now fast forward just a few years later, because look at it, you know what I'm saying? It's this battery plant out in Kentucky that they're doing Ford Lightning batteries. Problem is that nobody ain't buying electric vehicles because the infrastructure is not there to charge them, and you're gonna pay $100,000. Who gonna pay $100,000 for these vehicles? This is why I said in a previous video that I don't think, honestly, looking at it, our children are ever going to drive a car because Charles Schwab said, you know what I'm saying? Well, no, it's not Charles Schwab, it's Van Schwab. This globalist pig. You will own nothing, and you will be happy. This is what we're dealing with. You will own nothing, and you will be happy. So hey, the fix is in. You better be happy, because these people and their one world agenda is going to come to pass. And the only people that's going to suffer is the unprepared, the people that failed to see what was going on and respond accordingly. Well, I'm going to finish my stone steak. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this is how you have, you cook your steak on this stone, and so it cooks the steak, and you enjoy it, and it's nice and juicy and succulent and stuff. I mean, this stuff is just good. It's good eating. I prefer to eat. Look at that. Nice and succulent too. But hey, for people who get it and understand it, continue to prepare your house and your families. For those who don't, hey, what can you say? But you have a blessed night. Shalom.